Cipher. It's the Cipher. It's the Cipher.
Politics, sports, and entertainment. You care about it, we talk about it.
You're entering the Cipher.
Now here are your hosts, Marcus and
James
Mark.
Brown, even with the famous or famous flames. I was about to say the famous lips. The famous flames. Please, 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 sold 1 million copies. Okay, imagine that.
I did not know that.
Please, sold 1 million copies.
But now, let me ask you this: Who bought that? Who bought Please, Please, Please?
Who do you think bought Please, Please, Please? I mean, that sold to everybody. I'm talking about white, black, everybody bought Please, Please, Please. Now that had to be. I mean, I have no charts. I have no facts to back that up.
You know what's
but that
funny?
had to be a crossover hit.
I thought that I thought that Keith Sweat was the forefather of begging. I guess it was James Brown.
James Brown.
He used to beg before even Keith Sweat.
Yeah.
James Brown was the forefather, but Al Green was the king. That's what we called him, Al Grit Green.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, they call him grits.
Yeah, grits.
Well,
That's another subject matter.
That's a whole different show.
He turned his life around.
Yeah,
and let me go back to my jump off application.
Yeah, really. Yeah, really. Yeah.
Let me go back to my application for that whole Al Green.
He found God. He became a reverend.
Yes, he did.
Grits will do that for you.
Hot grits will make you find a lot of things. You get real introspective real fast.
Now, as in terms of the running of the thing, let's face it, in the 60s and the 70s, a lot of times you had people that did have some music expertise. From my understanding, in the 80s, you had a lot of business people that didn't necessarily care too much about the music. They were just chasing the dollar. Now, back in the 60s, we had a guy by the name of Curtis Mayfield that doesn't get...
Curtis Mayfield.
Right here in my notes.
Called We Are a Winner. Now, that was like our anthem.
Keep on pushing.
Yeah, keep on pushing.
And keep on pushing, you know. So, you know, but as far as the exportation, that's been going on since the beginning of time. Bo Diddley, God rest his soul, this man was 80 years old, still playing them 2 chords, Bo Diddley. Because a lot of guys back in those days didn't have the business savvy. They just wanted to be recorded. So they was giving up publishing rights, giving up masters. And so they had to tour until they was almost in a nursing home. Because that's all they knew. Whereas one thing I will say about a lot of the young entertainers now, such as your Jay-Z and your 50 Cent, they seem to be more on the business side.
Well, let me say something to you on that. They sold out. They sold out. They sold out.
In what way? Explain that to us.
They sold out because, when Jay-Z first started, he wasn't as big as he is now.
No.
There's no question.
No, he wasn't.
He was selling his stuff out of his trunk, up and down the East Coast. And then Def Jam came along and partnered up with Rockefeller.
Right.
Okay. That expanded his distribution.
From the standpoint, they're trying to sell as many units as possible.
Right.
So they do what they feel that they need to do.
Okay, but
and as far as selling out, let's face it, the object of the game is to get paid.
Okay, but let me say this to you guys though. We can talk. Most artists that you hear in the radio or see in music videos have on some level sold out. I will submit this to you, and especially, and you know this about me because of the hip hop issue. A lot of the artists that do the music for the art form, whether it be say Dead Prez, people like that who do it strictly for the art form, they will not sell out, and they will find other means of making sure that you hear their music. That's why the internet is a huge deal right
That's
now.
what made the internet.
Absolutely, you know what I mean. We're gonna find other unique. Chuck D wound up doing that.
Right, exactly.
We're like, forget y'all. We're doing it our own way right now.
I wonder if
KRS-One
come to them with a long-term contract and throw $1 million right in their face, will they still stick to those conventions?
Well, some of them did.
Some of them did. Your KRS, your Chuck D. They can make KRS-One, Chuck D, Dead Prez, even Talib Kweli, most of them. They can make more money doing other things, but then it comes a question of, do you value, if you sell your soul, how much value do you have on that?
Yeah.
I agree, but I really question that. I mean, I'm not done with what you're saying, but I really question have they really had that opportunity.
Well, and that goes back to what we talked about.
They've been out there a while, but they never did have that crossover appeals that a lot of people have had and I know you say it's because maybe they're sticking to their convention, which is an admirable thing. But again, most entertainers are in it for the coin.
Let me throw something out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Lauryn Hill with the Refugees.
The Score.
Perfect example. She stuck to her roots. Now, she was making mega money.
And she's also nuts, though, too. But that's a different.
Well, I mean, most artists are. Come on,
But she stuck to her originality. She said, "I don't want to do this."
And
the clown thing.
let me tell you this, guys. I was we talk about selling out and crossover appeal and mass appeal. Let me go back to Public Enemy for a minute. Now, I used to play college football in the early 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before a game, it would be white guys doing what? Listening to Welcome to the Terror Dome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I know you can always get people to buy your stuff if you don't sell out, because especially, and I know this because I have white friends. I know white guys love rebellion, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they see something that's rebellious, they were buying NWA too.
Yeah.
Do not sleep.
Yeah.
A lot of those, that's why they sold so much. So
Right.
it ain't, you don't have to give up what you're doing, because if you actually check the bank accounts of your KRS-Ones, they still make a lot more money than these guys out here who have all this appeal they see in the music videos.
Well, let's not forget at the time that Public Enemy came out. A lot of these guys who came out. Let's not forget about like groups like X-Clan. At the time, Public Enemy was original because of the way that they thought.
Right.
Right.
A lot of the and now you notice that after Public Enemy came out, a lot of these like pop rappers were coming out militant.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of to get paid, they were coming out.
Yeah.
The way the Public Enemy was coming out, there were a lot more
Kid
raw.
play with an African medallion.
No, actually, to their credit, they were one of the groups who never changed.
But that was a soft sell to enter the other medium.
Right.
Because before, VH1 wouldn't play those guys. MTV wouldn't play those guys.
No, not at all. Then Yo MTV Raps came around with Fat Five Freddy.
Right.
And Fat Five Freddy, they hired him to give some credibility to what it was that they were doing on MTV at that time.
Exactly.
So that's why when you actually look at all these old tapes of Yo MTV Raps with Fat Five, you saw the old Dr. Dre's,
Ed Lover,
and all of those guys way back then.
It's the Cipher. It's the Cipher.
Politics, sports, and entertainment.